Alrighty.
Oh, we're all here. It's been done.
Yay.
Oh, good. That's nice.
So can you guys please go around and introduce yourselves and tell me a fun fact about you?
Fun fact.
Ooh, fun fact. Mine. Okay, I got mine.
Okay, go for it.
My name is Evan, and I enjoy looking at candy in bulk on Amazon.
What? Candy
fun
in
fact.
bulk?
Yeah, you ever look at like 2 pounds of marshmallows on Amazon, or like stuff like that?
Weird.
It's so cool.
Oh my god. Okay. I genuinely don't know. My name is Hunter, and I am no fun. A cat named Six, and she's the love of my life.
Cute.
Okay. My name is Brooke, and instead of a crazy cat lady, I aspire to be a crazy dog lady.
I love that. Okay, so we have a question that was asked at our freshman orientation that we ask everybody. If you can be any utensil in the kitchen, what would you be and why?
Any utensil in the kitchen? The big chopper knife. I picked the big scary knife, so everybody knows who they're dealing with. Murder! I'm talking murder. So no. I picked a kettle because I like fire.
I would pick a coffee maker because I think that's the only thing I know how to use.
What music are you guys currently listening to?
Ooh.
Caroline Polachek. I don't know when she released her album, but it feels like apocalyptic pop, which is kind of like perfect for the moment. Yeah.
Vibe only.
Yeah. On that same note, I've been making a quarantine playlist, and I'm kind of thinking like scary zombie apocalypse quarantine. So music that sounds like it's the end of the world. So I've been putting like actually like old Cold War kids. Like the first 2 records, I love how it kind of sounds like everything's constantly falling apart. And it's kind of like not afraid to be like gritty and ugly and dirty. I just think that's really cool.
Whoa.
Wait, I have one more to submit. Haley Williams' Pedal Talk Armor Project.
Mm-hmm.
She just released a song with Boy Genius on it. So it was also the ladies from Boy Genius. Yeah, she released it yesterday. And then Caroline Polachek also did a remix of her first single, which is incredible. So it's just like all of that.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah.
God. That's not crazy vibe.
Yeah, Evan.
What I don't know what I've been listening to. I think I've been listening. Well, I've been trying to. I don't know how to say it. I think as of lately, I've been trying to find bands that I really, really like. I've been trying to find music that they never really released. So I've been trying to find a lot of B-sides of bands that I enjoy. So like, I found a whole Wilco album the other day. It's just like these like noise generator machine songs where there's just like 20 minutes of like, I don't know, abstract percussion and stuff like that. And then I've also been listening to a lot of like not like math rock, but I've been listening to a lot of like hardcore. I guess it's like what's a little bit under math. It's like elementary school math rock, where it's just a little bit. It's more tricky phrasing, not tricky playing, which is I find really fun. So I've been listening to a lot of that, and then I've also been listening to one of our favorite local bands just released a record 2 days ago that I'm a huge fan of, and it's called Pop by The Sledge. And it's really freaking good. It's like amazingly, extremely good. So I've been in love with that. And yeah, that's about it.
Nice. You mentioned unreleased music, so we're going to jump into our question that tends to make people think. What is your opinion of releasing an artist's unreleased music after they've passed away? Should it be released or should it not?
That's a great question.
Oh.
Can I go? Or I'm sorry, Hunter wanted to go. I apologize. Go for it, Hunter.
Well, I was just having this conversation yesterday because I saw that they released 2 of Mac Miller's songs, and it made me wonder, like, if you're that big of an artist, like, can you write that into your will? You know what I mean? Like, if I were an artist, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if I were an artist
question.
and I would imagine that if I had finished music and I died, like, I would still want it to be released. But I know that everybody feels differently about that kind of thing because, I don't know, I just feel like I would want that written into a will, especially, like, who the money goes to after the fact. Because that, like, I feel like some people have been taken advantage of in that, like, their music gets released after they've passed, but then, you know, the record label they were working with takes everything instead of their family.
Yeah, because I think the label owns the rights to that music a lot of the time. So the artist doesn't even really own it legally. So,
Right.
I mean,
That's nasty.
you know, I mean, we're talking about legality versus morals here. Morally,
Yeah.
I think you should really only release stuff that the artist had spoken with somebody about. Whether it's as simple as, you know, on their deathbed they talk to their partner or their best friend and say, hey, you can go ahead and release my unreleased stuff, or whether they actually wrote it down in a will.
Yeah.
Legally is passed down to somebody.
Overall, though, I just think it should be free. Like, the whole idea of somebody profiting off of that person's work, that doesn't super sit well unless it's like their family or their kids or like something like that.
Yeah, then that's their sort of inheritance to pass down to their kids. That makes sense to me. But if it's a label profiting off of someone who's dead, then I don't think that's right.
Yeah. I think it's also kind of like therapeutic. I mean, in advocating for it, I guess I would say that I think it's like partly therapeutic for the families that to have someone who died and they have unreleased music. Like, I know Richard Swift is like one of my favorite artists, and he died like 2 years ago, and he released an album in the summer, and I remember seeing that happen. I was like, oh, but so yeah, he died like 2 years ago, and then released an album in the summer, and I think his wife actually finished it for him, and she said that was a pretty, like, I think for everyone it was a pretty like therapeutic process to see his what he was working on before he passed to like come to life, and like I don't know, like I just think that just closed the door for them. I think that's kind of cool. And then other situations, like David Bowie didn't die before his last album, but he did die right after it. So I think that was a sort of a term, like a way of closure for his fans or for his family, which is interesting. But in those terms, yeah, I think it's a good thing. But if someone else is profiting off it, and that's the sole reason why it was put out, I don't think that's necessarily right.
Yeah.
It's to our next question, which is, if you could change one thing about the music industry as it is today, what would it be and why?
Oh, man.
I would change the way that streaming services pay artists, because it has seriously like hindered smaller artists' ability to, fund tours, or like, we don't sell music the way that we used to, which is fine. Like, the evolution of the way people listen to music is excellent, and I think people have a lot more access to it. But I just think that I wish that we could sell albums and singles the way that they used to. Like, I think artists deserve more of that, to see more of the money than Spotify or Apple Music or any number of those companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with Hunter. I think that I think it just takes. I mean, it takes money like straight out of our pockets, and music in general is just a really expensive thing to do. There are like a lot of inexpensive ways to go buy it, but like I don't know, putting out like I think we've done a very good job of like not spending that much money when it comes to recording and still getting a good result, which is cool. But like when you look, like we'll never make the money back on the album that we made. We'll never make the money back. I mean, we will make it from merch, but we won't see it from that album. Like all the album sales that we've made are probably like, I don't know, maybe a quarter of what we actually spent on the album. So it's a bit tricky, and there are different ways of making money, I think. But yeah, I would agree with Hunter. I think if that wasn't necessarily the jig or the gig, that would be a lot better.
Because on one hand, like, people have more access to more music and get to like know new artists more easily, which is awesome. But on the other hand, I think there are a lot of artists that never come to fruition because they can't get that financial support. And so it's that balance between like a lot of people just have to drop it and stop doing it. So we're losing a lot of voices that like basically either have to already be rich to do this, essentially, or you have to get famous and start making money like immediately, which just doesn't really happen very often.
No, it's definitely a grind until it pays off. Like, and I think that's a lot of the entertainment industry in general. Like, you know, even for actors and actresses, like you do gigs until you get noticed and then you go. But like, it is a tricky. That's a good question. That's a very tricky question, I would say, because I don't really like. I feel like it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but not double-edged sword, but it's a bittersweet.
Catch-22.
Yeah, because anyone can go listen to us right now for free, and that makes it a lot easier for people to listen to us. But like, it's like more quantity than it is quality. But I don't want to go on record saying that our listeners are quantity. I don't mean it like that.
No.
But I guess what I mean is just like what we see from it isn't. We see the views, which is good, but we don't get to see any money from that. Right.
So across the board, I think musicians need to be viewed as legitimate workers and legitimate entrepreneurs, essentially. And the music that we create, it's this funny paradox because music is so desired, it's so sought after, it's so necessary for
everywhere,
for everybody's well-being, and you know, art in general is. Yet the people who make the music that everybody thrives off of, artists are viewed as, you know, slackers or just illegitimate. And so the product we create, it's so valued, yet nobody wants to pay for it. And I think a lot of that fault, exactly. A lot of that fault just comes from the systematic way that we go about it. So systematic issues like labels, like streaming services, and things like that. So if there was a way to have labels and such that weren't so greedy, and I think if there were so more regulations, I think, for how contracts could be written, then labels and streaming services could proceed more closely to how other industries work. Because if you think about like retail stores or food industry, right? There are so many systematic stipulations that have to go into how everything is run. And those employees and those people up top, they have to follow a set of rules to make their whole operation run legitimately. So I think the music industry, there's so much gray area and so much leeway because it's an artistic field. So I think if there was some sort of across the board regulation for how things were to be run, then people at the top of the food chain couldn't use that gray area to take advantage of the artists themselves.
I definitely agree with that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I haven't really heard that before, and I think that's something that people should be talking about more, because there's so many different things, like so many different components and so many things happening, that maybe if there was like a set of rules people had to follow, or not, like maybe a process even where things could like be categorized and kind of flow in a better manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also like, I think there's something to be said about like a bit of the like facade that like that you need to be like, I believe in that being shown to thousands of people all the time, but like it's sort of like when you like promote an Instagram post or something and you have like all these people seeing your post, but like they don't really know what that post is, or they don't know that much about who you are. And so while we don't have any words, was it really worth? Yeah, it's not really worth like being exposed to that many people. Doesn't really do anything in return. But when we have a lot of fans that are extremely, we don't have. I mean, we have a good amount of people that follow us, and like the people that do are really great people. Like our fans are extremely like invested in us, and that's I think something that makes the band fun for all three of us, is that we know when we put something out that like someone's going to enjoy it, which is a really nice feeling. So it's great to have a lot of people that will buy shirts and buy CDs from us, and we can mail them out, and that's where we make most of our revenue. Where it's like putting us out on Spotify that we can be shown to millions of people, but we don't get millions of streams because we're not that big, you know. Like we don't see that payback.
And I think that issue too, then like it also encourages us to be more of a merch shop than to make music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of incentive is like, well, we got to think more about our aesthetics. But then, like, if you stop thinking about them, like, it's supposed to be about the music, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just weird that this other thing gets incentivized instead, you know?
Yeah, I know it's funny too, because like if I would say like if we didn't have the music, then no one would want to buy the merch. You know, I feel like both are they both use each other quite a bit. Yeah. But you could anyways, I'm not sure if that even followed into the answer that you were looking for or
There's a lot we would change.
Yeah.
In short.
I feel like Spotify is great for exposure, but at the same time, like, I think we were mentioning earlier about how, like, no one really is kind of listening to an album in full, or, like, as you said, like, the album streams might not necessarily be, like, what's revenue-wise, but it's through the merch, and I think that kind of helps through these personal connections that kind of help promote bands, because I know, like, word of mouth is this big thing, and I kind of feel like more people need to start talking about your band and other bands and just getting out there, and that's how it should kind of spread.
Yeah, no, it really is. I think that's a great. I think you put it in really good words. Like, it isn't really about like trying to reach thousands of people, because no one cares. Like, it's about being at that show for those 10 people that all walk out. Kind of like the coronavirus. You just gotta give it to 10 people so they give it to 20. You know, like.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. That never happened. But I'm just kidding. But no, it is a little bit like that. But we want to like it should be spread by word of mouth, and I think that means more to me personally than looking cool on a picture and so people click on it. I think that's another way to do it too. I don't think it's something that should be like turned away, but I much prefer the other way.
Yeah, it's like if we could all just create all the music we want, and sure, we would love to all share all of our art for free, because it's about the art for us, not about the money, but because of the systematic because of the systematic setup of how everything works, we kind of have to play that game. And
and do
Well,
our
yeah,
best
because it's like
to
artists
make
have
it.
to too, you know, like artists have to eat too. Like I have bills
Yeah.
to pay, and the whole thing is like I was going to school and working and in this band, and like because my work in it was like having 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
getting paid by one of them.
The one job you don't get paid for is extremely fun. Like,
Yes.
paid in different ways, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the.
My dad has told me time and time again, like you can't play music because you want to make money from it. You should only do it if you love it, which is exactly why we do it.
Yeah.
But that stopped me from being frustrated every once in a while at how like Brooke was saying, like how music is everywhere. People are constantly seeking out music, and yet it's valued so little when it comes to money.
Everybody
Yeah.
loves you when you're free.
That's why you should never be free. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. I even like as my own like personal music, like my own musical experiences. Like, I used to do stuff for free, and like now I don't do stuff for free. I charge for what I do because I could make money other places at other times. But I want to make money playing music, and I doesn't mean that I'm not cutthroat about it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say like if you can't pay me, I'm not gonna do the gig. I'm all for bartering. I'm all for seeing that my value is in someone else's view of me. I want to be valued just as much as I value being at the project.
Right. Exactly.
And
it's not being greedy. It's that.
No, it's not. It's just being fair.
Yeah, we have a certain amount of hours allotted for each day, and we also have a certain amount of money that we could be making with those hours. And so it's a demonstration that you are choosing to spend your time and energy on something that takes a lot more out of you than work sometimes can. In certain ways, it exercises your creativity and your abilities to create something for somebody. Like, you are choosing to do that, and that is of value to the people, and it kind of it demonstrates your value as a human and your basic need to still be able to eat and pay your bills, even though you are choosing to do this thing. So I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah, and I think that's why. I'm sorry, we're going on this question for so long.
No, it's fine.
This got me thinking. I guess that's why every time I see like musicians I know that I think are better than me or like extremely good, and I respect them musically, and they do stuff for free. It doesn't anger me. Like I understand. There's like I don't necessarily believe in being paid for exposure, but I do see that does add some things, and that is helpful in some ways. So like, I have good drummer friends that do sessions and stuff, and they charge less than me, or they do it for free because they're just like, well, I just want to do work, and I'm like, well, dude, don't do that, because the more you charge for free, the more you don't charge, the more people aren't going to believe in paying for it. And if you value everyone, if we all just said $50 and no one would do something for free, someone would get paid $50. So like, I'd rather someone get paid $50 than no one.
That's true. If you work for free, you are hurting everybody else in your field who does the same thing, that's trying to make ends meet with their work.
Yeah.
So you undercut everybody else. And so in essence, if everybody charges a little bit, then that standard is set and everybody can expect to make something for their work.
Boom. We figured it out. Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I think we should move on from this.
I really appreciate that. I think that you guys are talking about things that are honestly making me think more so about, like, think that shining a light on these things is what's ultimately going to make a difference in the industry in the future.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important to talk about it because, like, I think I'm going to say one more thing. I'm sorry. This is my last thing to say.
Okay.
But I think music is special to anyone that does it for a living or tries to or decides to. And like, I know that feeling of like being asked to do a gig and being nervous about asking to be paid and just being like, I should be thankful that I'm getting a gig, and I should be thankful that I have a chance to do this, and it's a chance, and it's a chance. But like, I think that it's a very passionate thing for us, and it's really exciting and beautiful to be part of music. And so I see why that almost is like enough of a payoff to some people. But I think it's just about getting over that next hurdle and valuing yourself for more than just you being able to play an instrument, but valuing yourself for that you can play the instrument and you should be paid for playing the instrument or whatever that job is, you know?
Speaking of instruments, can you guys tell me the story of how you picked your respective instrument?
Yeah. My dad taught me and my sister guitar when we were little, and she stuck with it, and I didn't really stick with it. I didn't like that the strings were so small and they hurt my fingers. And then I saw School of Rock, and I saw that girl bass player, and I was like, that's cool. You can be, you know, it's a stupid, simple concept, but it was still a revolutionary concept in my mind as a young kid. Like, wow, you can be a girl and be a bass player. Oh, that's cool. And then look at that bass. The strings are nice and thick, and like, I just really like how low it is, and that was great. So I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want to play bass. And he took me to Guitar Center, and we got a bass for my 10th birthday.
Oh.
That's my story.
Kevin?
Oh, I started playing drums because I thought it was cool. And I still think it's cool. And my brother plays guitar, so it just kind of made sense that I'd play drums. But I love drums for many reasons now, obviously. But I do also think drums are kind of the sickest instrument because when you sit behind it, like, there's sort of like there's a part of everyone that already has rhythm, and that's just kind of a part of being a human. And so, like, when everyone sits down, they kind of fake play drums, but they actually do play drums, which is cool. So I think that's why I like it. It's everyone can do it, anyone can do it, like any instrument. But also, it's just tight-ass instrument to play.
Tight-ass instrument. I started singing when I was a kid, and my dad was a musician, so I started, like, immediately writing songs, like, very early on, and my dad kind of helped me because he would record the songs with me. Like, I think my first songs are from when I was in, like, 5th grade. Roller coaster. Don't even start with me. And so eventually my dad tried to teach me guitar, but I wasn't interested, didn't want to do it. And then in 8th grade, I was listening to All Time Low, some pop punk, and I was like, I want to be able to play this. Like, I want to be able to do this by myself. I don't want to have to rely on, like, somebody else to, play a song and get to sing it. And so I started looking up guitar tabs, and I played the guitar ever since.
Brooke, you mentioned School of Rock. It was actually filmed at my college.
Oh, no way.
Yep. The scene where Jack Black's character is in the van and he's going on that green lawn and you see the iconic entrance, that's our main hall.
Oh, that's so cool.
Whoa, that's so tight.
That's awesome.
Oh, can I tell you a fun fact about School of Rock?
I'm ready.
So the School of Rock had a air guitar teacher or like an air instrument playing teacher.
What?
I met with them, and his name is Jim O'Rourke, and he's like one of my favorite musicians. He's worked with Wilco. He does his own solo stuff. He produces a lot of people, but so he was at the School of Rock set teaching everyone to like air guitar. And, like, how to like fake their instruments, which I thought was so cool.
Amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, I never realized how important or like how impactful the movie was until I started doing these interviews, and people were like, "Yeah, that inspired me on why I picked the instrument I did, or like why."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's crazy to see.
No one's heard Tenacious D? No one's heard Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny inspired me.
Tenacious D is great, but
It's a funny movie.
That's so
Oh
cool.
my God.
I didn't know other people chose their instruments because of that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It's kind of
I
crazy.
never met anybody else who said that, but I hope that day comes.
So my next question for you guys is, what's your writing process like?
Hunter, do you want to take the lead?
Yeah, so we've been, I think, trying new ways of going about it, because in the beginning, when we first started, I personally had like a plethora of songs kind of written, and then we would come into the studio and I would play the song, and we just kind of learned it part by part and would write around it and arrange the song together. But recently we've been trying some new stuff where we like try to write the song in the studio together instead of me like showing up with an idea. Like we do a little bit of everything nowadays, and Brooke's been getting more involved in like the lyric writing process. And so yeah, we're just trying to switch it up to see what kind of stuff works, what kind of stuff doesn't. But
yeah, it's kind of fun to write all together at the same time. Like one person has an idea, or I think what's fun is Evan will set a challenge, like we should write a song where we try and do this thing that we've never done before, and then we'll kind of write a song from the ground up all together. And I think it's kind of fun. It's sort of contributing to our growth as a band and this new era of whatever Chase Petra is going to evolve into.
Yeah, it's really fun because like the first go around with our full length, a lot of those songs, Hunter came in and brought them, and then like we would flesh them out and arrange them, and like then we would go add the sprinkly things afterwards. We recorded it and stuff. So, but this time around, like I guess my personal goal for our new writing process and just in general and like any project, I think my goal right now is to just be like, I'm trying to write and hear songs like already recorded in my head before we record them, so that process is already thought out and the production is already done before we record, so that when we do go record, we can kind of have an idea of what it's going to come out as, rather than like just laying everything down and then figuring out how to piece it together. Which is a bit of a tricky thing. But yeah, no, it's been really fun to like to write songs together all together, because I love it. I love just, hey, let's not do a chorus. Let's not do a chorus until the end of the song. That'll be it. That'll be at the end. And then, it might sound shit. And that's kind of the cool part, is like the more you guess around, the more careless it is, and then you stumble upon something great, and then you have it,
And I love how we're playing with arrangements too. Like, okay, let's arrange this song in a way we've never done before. I feel like we're with each new song, we're trying to do something we haven't done before. It's so fun.
It is a lot of fun, and we don't know if any of them sound good, so you have to look out.
We hope so.
We hope so.
What's your favorite part of a song that you've written? It could be a lyric, a guitar riff, bass line, or a drum cadence.
I have one. In our song, what's it called? See You Next Tuesday. In See You Next Tuesday, we have this like transition section into the, what do you call it? It's not a bridge. It's not a bridge. It's like the outro chorus thing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Whatever
like
you want to call it.
Anything or whatever with the odd bar.
Yeah, so we took forever one day, like figuring out what the counts were gonna be for this weird transition thing. We were like about ready to kill ourselves, like just kill each other over this thing, but we figured it out. And I don't know, it's just this weird little transition. It's like a bar of 7 into like, I guess like it's weird. If we try to count it, that's a problem. So we don't.
Yeah.
But that's a really fun part, and then I get to do a fun little bouncy bass line that I enjoy. So, yeah, that's my favorite part.
I think my favorite thing that we've ever written is probably, I think the song Contractual is just my favorite that we've ever done. It's still my, like, go-to. I don't even, like, it's the oldest song. It's, like, one of the oldest things we've ever done, but, like, it still is, like, my favorite thing that we've ever done. And, like, I think just the way we orchestrated that song and how it came out as a final product was really exciting. Like, we keep it really, like, tight, and it never opens up until the bridge. And so there's this, like, really great sense of, like, release to me when we get to the bridge. Like, especially when we play it live, it's like, ooh, we're like tight and not gonna give up, not gonna give it up. And then you get to the bridge and, like, let it all out. It's just this, like, really great, like, endorphin release for me. So that's my favorite part. I would say, yeah, the bridge of Contractual is my favorite thing.
I would say, overall, like, my favorite song is definitely In an Emergency, Such as the End of the World. Just because, I don't know, it consistently just feels like it's just a fun song. Like, I just like it a lot, but I gotta say, when it comes to, like, writing new things and trying new things, Paranormal, particularly the bridge in Paranormal, that felt like a first step into
the new era.
Into doing things that weren't quite
the
so
new order.
So yeah, the bridge of the whole song, but also the bridge of Paranormal really felt like stepping into something different. So yeah, I'd say that's probably my favorite part right now.
Yeah. And then
I remember
also,
we kept talking about it being like a punk song. We were like, this is a punk song. It's got to be fast and loose. Get in, get out.
did not end up that way.
But we certainly fancied ourselves as playing a punk song for 1 second.
I think also some of the new stuff we're working on, I think that could be, like, some of my new favorite stuff, too, because, like, there's one new song we just finished, like, last week that, like, I'm very, very into. I cannot wait to do that. And ask me in a couple months, and I'm sure they'll answer.
Yeah.
Can you describe your sound in 3 words? You can each do 3 words if you would like, or it can be a consecutive 3 words.
I got it. Can I go first?
Go.
Okay, so one of them is a 2 word, but it's 1 word.
Okay.
Quarter life, that's 1 word. Crisis, rock.
Okay.
We got it.
There we go.
Okay.
Quarter life, crisis, rock. I mean, I had to take pop out, but we're gonna just keep rocking there.
Okay.
Oh, that's a hard question. Give me a second, Brooke, go.
Oh, God. Like a genre or adjective?
Anything you want.
Oh, God.
Big ass nice.
That's nice.
Honest, fun. That's only 2 words. It's honest, it's fun, and it's powerful.
Nice.
Damn, I like that.
Thank you, thank you.
It's from the heart.
Oh,
Nice, very good.
yeah.
I love seeing how bands describe themselves, because, like, if I'm describing you to somebody, I might pick a different 3 words, but it's nice to see, like, how you guys would want people to perceive you, or the message you guys want to put out. So.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My next question for you is, what is the weirdest or funniest question you've ever been asked before in an interview?
What kind of kitchen cutlery would you use?
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that one does copy.
probably.
Actually, no, wait. One time in an interview, I think we might have done this to ourselves, but Jake asked, "What's the status? What's the saddest story you can tell me?" or something like that, and it was like, it's a horrible question.
Avert.
Yeah, abort. So yeah, I don't think we didn't answer the question.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, he asked us, dogs? No, cats or God?
Cats or God? Yeah.
Because dogs are God.
Oh my
So
god.
the
Cats or
question
God.
was cats or gods.
It's funny.
We had some weird questions in that interview.
I can't think of any right now, actually. I think your interview questions have been some of the most interesting. I really like them.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank you.
Yeah, we've never really had these questions before, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are going on a road trip. What are 3 songs that must be in your playlist?
Can we do it like we're going on tour together?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going on tour, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
what
By
ABBA
Britney
song?
Spears.
Britney Spears, yeah.
Oh yeah, Britney Spears. Okay, what
Sure.
Britney Spears song?
Toxic.
Toxic.
Oh,
Just
hell
gotta be
yeah.
in there.
Okay. Toxic. Okay, what ABBA song?
Oh,
Oh. Oh, but what about the So When You Need Me for SOS?
Oh, SOS, yes, for sure.
SOS. Yeah. See, we can't not sing along even right now. Should we do like Queen or Paramore?
Love.
Oh, we gotta do a Paramore song. Like, can we do Rose Colored Boy?
Yeah,
Rose Colored Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we will accept.
Okay.
Lit road trip.
How many is that? 4?
It's
That was
great.
like
So that's
70
pretty-
at this point.
What do you guys do when you're not doing anything music related, like hobby wise?
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if it's a hobby. It might just be unhealthy, is more what it is, I would say.
What?
But
Eat
Um,
paper.
I do. It happens out here. This is the interview. Everyone finds out I'm a lizard person.
Evan, eat the paper.
Jeanine, it's not serious. It's okay. Just kidding. It's serious. But I think I watch a lot of like YouTube videos about like how video games are made. I find that really interesting. And I hang out with my girlfriend. I do that, and then I work and I play drums and then I do dance. Those are the only things my life is capable of at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I don't know if I have hobbies either.
I know. I was like,
I read. I unfortunately spend probably too much time on TikTok, and my hobbies are reading and drinking.
Not together or only together.
I've actually gotten really into like, I guess, like interior and exterior decorating and just like curating my home, which has been really nice. Dude, it's nice, honestly, because I feel like I've just been extremely busy for the last 7 years, and I've been on tour so much since I've lived here. So my home has just kind of been a haphazard storage unit for a long time, and so now, especially since we have time home during this fucking quarantine, I've been really like curating my home, and it's really nice. I have like art in my kitchen and like a big storage shelf thing for all of my instruments and like candles, and it's really nice. My roommates and I this morning are making a garden box where we're gonna plant our own vegetables and herbs. So I'm really excited about that. And I've been learning how to make things because I have all these ideas, but I'm not great with like power tools and stuff by myself. So it's nice that I live with people who do know how to build and make things. So I've kind of slowly but surely been learning and making all of the things that I've always wanted to make. So that's very fun.
Can you describe the scene for me in California? What's the music scene and the vibe like?
Oh God.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel like LA is actually doing pretty good. The music scene feels fairly healthy. Long Beach, not quite what it once was.
Yeah, it's I would say it's a bit of like a younger crowd thing.
Yeah.
It's either like a younger crowd thing or not we're. I don't want to sound like I never know. This is like the first interview I've ever thought about how I actually sound. So I feel like I'm choosing my words wisely. But I don't even know if that's true. But I think some of there are a couple cliques around our city that we just don't fall into, and so we never see. And not that we don't understand that. I don't think we're not like salty about it or anything, but we just can't seem to like break into them, and so we play a lot in LA, Pomona area, where we kind of thrive.
Yeah.
That's I guess how I feel about it.
I feel like we're not super tuned in with what's necessarily the most trendy and yeah, I guess trendy is the right word. But it seems to be like sort of a fusion of genres. Like things seem to be getting a little more what's the word? Sort of a fusion of like, I don't know, SoundCloud, hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it.
I was tracing it as like there was this kind of like, because of Burger Records, there was this whole like kind of lo-fi surf punk thing going on.
Yeah. But now that's evolved.
It's kind of transitioned into more of a like, feels like regular old emo again.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's a big punk scene in Long Beach and like the Compton area too. But we're not necessarily like a punk band. We have like I guess we're just like aggressive rock in some ways. I don't think we're not like quote unquote punk, you know, like we have those tendencies, I guess. So we don't really fit within those crowds. And there's a big kind of like if everyone hangs out with each other as friends, and if you're friends with them, then you'll probably play their shows.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes. I would assume in like any big industry, all the nice big touring bands tour with their friends because they're friends.
Yeah.
So like we have a lot of great band friends, but we kind of we hang out with them, and then we have bands we want to be friends with, and we just kind of have to wait for those perfect moments where we get put on the bill with them, and we're like, yeah. Like we have bands like Broken Baby is a band we were pretty good friends with, and
I was just gonna say, like, she asked just what the scene is in California. So I would say, like, generally, punk is a big thing, lo-fi is a big thing, and then just kind of blending those elements with different genres.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say.
Like we have maybe 1 or 2 underage venues.
Yeah.
Like especially for kids, it's difficult to get out and be able to support.
Yeah, we do have a lot of like 21 and up venues that like are pretty nice. Like we have some pretty cool venues in Long Beach to play, but actually I'm not sure. It's not many. I would say there's like 4 or 5 nicest venues to play out here. But like in our like I don't know, like this 20-mile vicinity around our town and stuff. But they're still great shows. They're always pretty good shows. But it doesn't go much further than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some Spitfire questions for you guys. Just whatever comes into your head first. You guys can take turns answering. Just let me know when you're ready, and I'll just jump right into them. Okay?
Ready.
Okay. Favorite state that you've been to?
Favorite what?
State.
Oh, favorite state?
Mm-hmm.
I live here, California.
Washington.
Arizona.
Favorite venue that you've played in?
The Satellite.
I forget what it's called, but it's in Glasgow.
Oh, no, I can't. Yeah, well, okay, whatever.
The smell.
I think, what's it called? The Region? The Region. That's my favorite venue I've ever played. That was cool.
Favorite book?
Everything.
Harry Potter.
The I Spy series.
What?
And the I Spy books. Those are my favorites. I don't care. They're good.
I don't care.
They got amazing photography, and that's all that matters.
Favorite movie?
Me or Matt?
Donnie Darko.
Is pretty high up there. What'd you say, Brooke?
Donnie Darko.
I just
Really? That's so fitting. I can tell that's your favorite movie. That's great.
Yeah, I know.
It's a great movie. I love that movie.
Thank you.
We all answered?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show?
Parks and Rec.
Atypical. Oh, we keep talking at the same time. What'd you say?
Parks and Rec.
Ooh,
Wait, what did you say, Brooke?
Atypical.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, it's really good. Did you watch it?
I've never watched it. I haven't watched it. I should.
It's really good.
My favorite show is Frasier, for sure. For sure.
Mm.
I love this. Okay. Favorite album in your personal collection?
Like that we have.
I can
That
do
you
that.
physically own.
Oh God.
Physically owned. A Fever You Can't Put Out by Panic at the Disco.
Oh man.
God damn, that's a really hard one, man. I can't pick that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I would say probably Jenny Lee from Warpaint. She put out a solo record like 2 years ago, and it's one of the most inspirational things to me, and I have it on vinyl, and I love it.
I can't answer this truthfully, so I'm going to say Celtic Women that was given me to my birthday for my birthday.
Oh.
And now my last question for you, which is not a Spitfire. You don't have to, not the first thing that comes into your head. It's probably going to require a little bit of an explanation. What are your goals for the new decade of 2020?
What'd you say? Our goal?
For 2020.
As like individuals or as a band?
Both.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
My personal goal for 2020 is I would like to become a substitute teacher and be able to do something that's fun and make more money, but also that gives me the freedom to be in this band, because my goal for the band in 2020 would be, my goal for the band would be a tour and getting some releases out so people can hear new stuff that we've been writing.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with the band goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that band goal too. But my personal goal, I want to get my master's and
In 2020?
In
in the
2020?
decade of 2020, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the whole decade?
Oh.
Wait, the year 2020 or the decade?
The decade of 2020. You don't have to cap yourself with the year.
Yes, I want to get my master's, and I want to live on my own, and I want to get really, really good at recording drums and do session work for people and play in the band.
I gotta say, my personal goals are to find career stability, and also financial stability, and to become a self-sufficient like woodworker and just maker of things, and also to become good at all the instruments that I'm not so good at, and
Amen.
to
That's a good
be
goal.
and to be a good friend to my friends.
Oh.
Okay, well, I greatly appreciate you guys speaking with me. I had a great time. This was a lot of fun. And
Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. Good luck with the quarantine.
Yeah,
you guys
Stay
do.
out there.
All right.
All right.
Have a great
Bye,
night.
guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Good night.